The Massholes lose the Super Bowl. The Mets don't have a right fielder, even though they have a right fielder. And you put your head down for 1 second, and there's havoc. We have baseball. Diamond Diehards is on. Along with the dog, Jeff Healy, this is Joe Rizzo. Dog, the Mets do not have a right fielder, but they just spent $765 million on a right fielder last year. Give us your thoughts on that.
Well, we're just gonna move everybody all around. Looks like instead of Bengay in the right field, we're gonna have Bengay in the right fielder. So kids gonna get thrown right into it, and hope it works out.
I mean, is this a bad move? Good move? Listen, I'm not even going to beat around the bush. This is a great move. Like, it's Juan Soto is more suited to left. Like this is once again the
We were
Diamond
saying that
Diehard,
last year.
the
Yeah,
Diamond Diehards premonitions have come true.
time machine.
We've been talking about this, like, and I know you and I sort of like we did it back and forth where you're like, well, you kind of think the lefty throwing right fielder maybe gets a better look, but I just think for him it's a little less complicated. The game is more in front of him, even if he has to make the throws to second, with the slightly more awkward turn. I feel like from left field the game is more in front of you, and in right field it's just not quite the same when you have balls that go to, like, depending on which side they go to. So I think it's a great move. I mean, I was always shocked when he was playing right field for the Yankees. I mean, I know it ended up being sort of out of necessity because they didn't have anybody to play center, and then Judge just moved over to center. But in a perfect world, yeah, and he did actually play in left a few times when he was with the Yankees when Judge was playing right. But I think it's a great move, even despite the fact that you don't have a right fielder. Like that one you can figure out. Brett Beatty, hey, oh, he can play right field. Why not?
Remember else?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of would want to ease a guy into like left field, right? Like if he's coming from the infield and hasn't really played it. But
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mets are really set up that it's really gonna be Carson Bengay is gonna be playing either center or right. I assume right, and Luis Roberts is going to take center, unless they get down there and he kind of gets bounced over, and Roberts moves over. But yeah, I think between those two and then Tyrone Taylor, the best 2 to 3 play, and you'd like to see something a little more settled, but the kid's young enough to move over at this point. I mean, if he can play center, I think he can play right. So um, you get great range over there, and that should help. You know, cut it down a little bit for Soto. Um, I also looked at if you're gonna make errors, right? I mean, it's kind of easier to cover from in left field than it is in right field. Right field errors are normally more horrific, and it leads to guys on third way more often versus left. It tends to be a little bit more controllable. You called it with that the Mets are gonna have a problem with Nimmo, and they would need to move Soto at some point. So obviously David Stearns was listening to you, Riz. So he made it happen.
I know he listens to
And
the show.
you just trampled all over the doggy's feelings, and that's the way it is. So
Hey, it's
still
got to
wearing a
be
hat.
done. We have a reputation to uphold here.
Exactly,
We
exactly,
tell it like it is. We don't have big numbers, but like we know that the insiders do listen to us. So the people,
exactly.
the decision makers listen to the show. And they
I'm
watch the
too.
show. They might not even catch it live, but they do listen. They just don't. Nobody talks about it. It's like under the radar.
Exactly, exactly.
So
Subversive.
so just all this stuff happened in baseball, but Dog and I had the best Super Bowl halftime show. Were you
Yes, we
not
did.
fully? Let me ask you this: Was that not one of, if not the most entertaining Super Bowl halftime you ever have experienced?
Yes.
And does anybody listening, besides maybe like four other people, have any idea what we're talking about?
No.
Okay,
But
so
they all think the doggy loves the Latinas. And you darn tootin'. That was great.
so
I
what
couldn't
was
understand
so
a word that was being said. You know what? Same as every other halftime. Okay. Sounded good, looked good.
What
And
the hell is this guy doing on my team?
we're, we're busy chit-chatting away while the show's going on.
Yeah, well, you want to explain? You want to explain why our halftime was so great?
So yeah, we have we're kind of we're kind of all spread out at this point. So we kind of have our little chats going, and we decided to do a little video chat with our friend Boom, who friend of the show, Boomer Hilbert, who checks in occasionally.
Boomer Hilbert reporting.
Exactly. So you'll probably spring training is his normal fun time out in Arizona, so he'll be on soon. Um, so he was, wanted to go talk to some of the boys and stuff like that. Was missing some of the boys out east. So we hopped on. We got him. We get the priest in DC. We get me and Riz and Mike was out. Is that it? Jerry come in?
No, Jerry
No, it's
wasn't
just the
there.
four, right?
At Cav.
Oh, Cav. I knew I
Tom
was missing
Cavanaugh,
something. Cavanaugh, our friend of the show, has been on. So another
big
big Met fan.
ratings, big
So
ratings guy.
yeah, so we got
That was one of our most downloaded shows ever when Tom Cavanaugh talks about the '86 World Series.
that was a great show.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of Met fans, a couple of Yankee fans, and I guess Diamondbacks. I don't know. Still
Yeah,
always tough to tell with them.
Whatever's the flavor of
It's,
the day.
it's,
Royals, Diamondbacks,
his
whatever.
love is transactional when it comes
I,
to baseball.
I thought you were going with transient, but
Oh
transactional is
yeah,
good
that too.
too. Yeah, so we were thoroughly entertained
Yeah.
during the halftime show, and like I just think it's funny that there's experts on as Mad Dog called him Bugs Bunny. He's calling him Bugs Bunny. He says he's kidding, but I know he's not. He's calling him Bugs Bunny. Like, come on. Like, do I care? Like, my only amusement about the whole thing was that as someone who has a communications degree and comes from an era where the FCC like actually meant something. Like the fact and listen, my Spanish is horrible, but I've heard that I didn't sit there and go word for word and try to figure out like if all the words in his song were as vulgar basically as they are. But you see these reports out there like if he said this in English, they would have just been bleeped. The whole thing would have just been bleeped. And I think Mad Dog was saying if Mad Dog said if this concert was happening in his basement, Roger Goodell would call the cops. So like what so my only amusement is how could you like are you allowed to like is it just in on like network television or whatever like are the standards only English like you could just say whatever you want if it's in a different language even if it's a language that like 45 million Americans speak like
That's an interesting one. To be honest, we really haven't. To my knowledge, I don't remember a similar sort of situation. Um, Coming up in the past. I don't know. That is a goodie. I mean,
I
one would think clearly it shouldn't be. Everyone makes a big deal. We don't have an official language, right? So therefore, every language should be upheld to that.
Okay, and then during the Olympic opening ceremonies,
Mhm.
when Armenia happened to be marching out, so this was a great dig for my pal Ted Takvorian, the Armenian. Um, Mary Carrillo was saying, like
Chris is all over that.
she was talking about how many Olympic winter Olympic medals Armenia has, and she said, "Yeah, in my house where I grew up, they would say ugats," and like basically, if you
Even I would sort of get to that. That's
yeah,
something.
yeah, like Debbie Rizzo, fluent Italian speaker and citizen of the country, was like, "What the hell? Did she just say that?" I'm like, "She did," and so of course, I had to back it up, take a little video of it, and post it on Twitter. Go, Mary Carrillo,
It's Mary. It's
dropping
Mary.
Ugats like right in the like But I guess there's a Stugats, that's kind
Yeah,
of
but
the.
I'd say people could have thought that it was sort of a slang. I mean, it was probably something you weren't supposed to be saying, but
I mean, it basically means like literally like it's like a vulgar way to say like dick and but it sort of has the connotation of like fuck or shit like it's really like vulgar like it's really street you know so I'm like oh well I guess that
yeah,
NBC
there goes our clean rating.
NBC
Was
Bugs
Boomer.
Bunny Bad Bunny his he's like, oh well, I guess Mary Carrillo could curse in Italian, so I could curse in Spanish. Like, yeah. Um. Oh, okay. So we
Bad
got a
Bunny.
couple
Well, we
people.
got good doggy here.
So
Good
we have
doggy's on.
we have an Italian speaker and I think a Spanish speaker checking in right now.
Nice.
But Gina, I think. Well, she if she doesn't speak that much Italian, she does know what that means, the Italian word. But Love, Georgia Morris. Let's see if I forget if Love is a Spanish speaker or not. I mean, at least he's played one on television before, so I'd like to see his reaction in the comments to what that is. I mean, listen, like here's the like like let's say you're in a house where everybody understands Spanish, right? And you got little kids and you're watching the halftime show. Like this, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna tell the kids like, "Oh, now you can't. We gotta turn it off." Like, so there is something there, right? But it's okay. Love George Morris is he's fluent in Spanish, so love tell us like just post in your comments in the comment your thoughts about first of all were all the lyrics as bad as being reported because I didn't check for myself.
Gina
Eh,
knows what she was saying. That's what she's saying in the chat there.
Gina knows Ugats. That's what she,
Yeah. Oh, we're back in the bunny. So
yeah. So
well,
George,
that was like that was sort of part of the joke, right? It's even the Spanish speakers, so nobody's saying
yeah,
because he slurs it so much. It's like listen, old school Dylan. It's like what?
yeah.
So I don't
Well,
know. Whatever. That
easily,
ship has probably sailed in the society. So a
yeah,
while ago,
whatever.
even in late '80s, right? Stern was starting to sneak it in and stuff. So
I
uh,
don't know. I mean, he didn't real like sort of uh he had sort of like code
it was
words
still
for stuff.
still the seven words
He had code words or
were still
noises that
in
he would
force.
make, but he never actually, said it because they would get bleeped and fined and whatever. But uh anyway, I think we did great with the halftime because we just like immediately as soon as the half went, I hit
We'll
I
have to
hit
we'll
the
have to
little
ask George Almaros if he could understand what Bad Bunny was saying.
well, I think I kind of did that about 5 times. I don't know if you were paying attention.
I was
I
busy
was
typing to
asking
Gina.
I was asking I was asking love. So
I
when I say
dude,
love, that's who I'm
I'm an
talking to.
accountant. I cannot multitask.
Amores it means love. So when I say love, that's who I'm talking to.
Nah, all
Yeah.
right.
So love will hopefully tell us. I asked him to throw it in the comments. He doesn't really have to comment.
There you go.
Okay, he was very hard to understand. George Morris says.
Thank you.
More importantly, it was a tribute to Puerto Rico. Well, that I
That was
knew. That
cool.
I saw.
The
Like
whole
I,
thing
I was
actually,
just looking at it. It looked fine.
when utility guys got on there, that was nice. It
Yeah.
was about the grid falling apart in Puerto Rico, but
Yeah. Well, now
a
we're
little
into
bit of
dog so wheelhouse of power.
I was like, it's like, hey, that's a lineman. It's like there's more linemen up there than we had on the Giants for most of the years.
Jim Amoroso just checks in on the comments, says he speaks only English. But Jimmy, you're going to have to go back to the beginning of the show because there was a little Italian in there that I definitely know you understand. You understand because it's this. There's a word that describes how much money you typically win at the track. You're going to have to go back and get that, Jimmy. Um,
Deep cut, deep
uh,
cut from Riz.
a deep cut, yeah. Well, Ugats. That's what that Jimmy the Mush usually wins at the track.
Picked it
Um,
up.
all right, dog. So Francisco Lindor, like all this Juan Soto's moving to left field. David Stearns has his missive press conference, and it's all of a sudden like the Mets season is
No, by the way,
like Debbie Rizzo sitting there going like I don't even know. Like I don't even am I going to pay attention this year? Like everything looks lost already.
that's a little rough.
Well,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
haven't even reported yet.
I know, but it's like all these changes you're hearing about. Like all of a sudden, oh, Francisco Lindor, yeah, he's had problems with the soreness in his hand with the hamate bone for years on and off. Wait, what? Who? What? Out of nowhere? And then like, okay, he's gonna go see somebody, and if it has a break in the hamate bone, then he's got to get surgery, and that's 6 weeks, and blah blah blah. Now you just signed another shortstop for $41 million a year, but he's not an option in case Lindor can't play. That doesn't make any sense. Like I well, I shouldn't say it doesn't make any sense. There's one world where it does make sense. And that world is he does have to learn a new position. And the only way he can learn a new position effectively for opening day is he's got to be playing. If he's going to be a third baseman, he's got to play third base for as much as possible in spring training, right?
Yep.
So that's the one case. However, if he's doing that at third, he could probably just take, a couple of days of reps at short and be back to being a shortstop.
I
Right?
mean
Like
that's
if
and
he
that's probably probably the way you play it, right? I mean, let's sort of do worst case. Let's say he immediately jumps through a surgery. I guess worst case is he tries to play through it and then does the surgery. But let's say they think it's a surgical thing and it's gonna be a little longer time. So boom, do it right away. Misses spring training. Um, April, May or spring training. He normally sucks anyway in April, May.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, but Dog,
and
wait, I got hold on, hold
but
on.
let me just finish up real quick.
Okay.
So I mean, so you do have you do have Mauricio, who was a highly touted guy coming up.
He's
So
a big zero now. Did you know that?
I did not
Switched
know that.
from 10 to
Switched
0.
over. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah, he gave up
He
10
gave up the Staub. That's a Duffy. Um,
and he didn't like any other number, so he took 0.
there you
Look
go.
at me. I'm like Mr. Met tonight.
You are. That's pretty impressive, Chris. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
You're welcome.
I mean, and he's going to be de facto like the backup guy now, right? With McNeil gone and Acuna gone, so he's going to be your backup infielder, basically. So, he's got his chance to kind of prove it out. He was sliding over towards third because it looked like that's where more of the opportunity was going to be. Um, but, I think he can kind of play, short, second, third is sort of the idea on it. He's going to get way more reps at short than he would normally get um, with Lindor out. So we'll see. He's a big highly touted guy. He got, I'd start off to had a little bit of stick and then had some troubles. So we'll see where it kind of bounces back to it. And like I said, worst case, you move Bichette back over to short, you move Beatty over to third, and you move on. So
All right, Dog. I smell a rat. Okay? I smell a rat. I smell a rat.
what rat?
First of all, we hear nothing ever bad
You
about
think they
Lindor.
knew? You think they knew the whole time he was going down? That's why they got
Dog,
Bichette.
he was the first thing we hear 2 weeks ago. Nobody's heard anything. Oh, he's not going to play for Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic.
Well, that was for
Nobody.
the elbow. That was for
Okay,
a
but
different injury.
that's what they're saying. But like the hand, like I mean, well, it's that. It's that. Like there's a little smoke
The
here.
one thing, and I don't remember it exactly, but I do sort of vaguely remember like the Monte Bone, whatever, or however you say it.
Hammett.
Uh, Hammett,
Yeah, it's
just like
Hammett.
all right,
Yeah.
Hammett bone. I think that one's sort of like a lingerer, for what I remember. Like I
Yeah, well,
kind of
that's what
always
they're
remember that
saying
one, like
now. They're
always being like
saying
a,
that now.
like it just like never really heals up quick, and it's just like it's just around, and you underperform with it for a while, and hopefully that's not the case. So.
His hand is underperforming. Maybe you should put some Viagra on it.
He doesn't need any hand.
That might
He's
make
got
his
gotcha, my friend. He does. He's fine.
that might make his hand too stiff though.
He's too good. He's fine.
I
Everything's
don't
fine
know,
for
dog. Dog,
Francisco.
I smell a rat. No, the Puerto Rico thing comes out of nowhere. They're blaming it on these guys can't get insurance.
I don't know.
Now
Then you
all of
get
a sudden,
then you
out of
get rid of
nowhere,
McNeil.
the day
I
that
say I don't buy it. I don't buy that one there.
yeah, but
Because
he's
you would have
not.
kept McNeil if you really were worried about
They
Lindor.
signed Bichette, who's a shortstop, right? They
Yeah.
McNeil wouldn't play short. Like that's the one, like
Yeah.
in a bot. Like if he was, he'd play there before
Yeah.
Soto.
But I'm
But
saying
like,
he's another major league infielder that you
yeah,
have
but
in the
like,
mix.
they don't want to move Simeon there, right? Because they just got him to play second, and
Mhm.
you have Mauricio or whatever, but you have Bichette. Like it's there. I don't know, dog. Something's up. Something's up. I'm gonna say it now. He's not starting opening day. Francisco Lindor is not starting opening day. There's some stuff going on.
All right. Okay.
I don't want to say it because he's such a good player. Like even if you don't like the Mets, he's like
Is he
he's one of
playing?
the top
Is he
guys.
playing May 1st? That's more a bigger worry.
May 1st.
A month out from your star. It stinks,
Yes.
but you deal with it.
Yes, I'll
If
say
that's
May
the case,
1st.
it's not the end of the world.
I mean,
You know,
if you go
keep him down there.
10 and
Keep him down
26,
there, nice and warm. Bring him up in May when it's nice out.
go 10
No
and
cold
26.
days. What's
lose the
that?
division. 10-26, lose the
Well, we're going
division.
to oh, wow, come on now.
Rebounding
Come on.
Braves.
Come on now.
Phillies still rolling. Improving Marlins. National. Well, okay.
Okay.
Maybe I'm pushing a little too far with the national. There's no more Mackenzie Gore. That part gets me
All
going.
right. This is
Georgia Morris says Lindor gets traded. There's nobody in their right mind in the majors who is taking his contract, love. So I will shut that one down for you right now. They are
oh,
not
really?
taking
I don't know
Lindor.
about that. The numbers that get thrown around anymore? Maybe not with injuries sitting there right now, but the giant numbers that get put down in other contracts and stuff, that contract is going to start looking better. Well, let's put at least
And
less
love
bad, less bad.
the last team they're going to trade him to is the Padres. That's all they have is shortstops playing out of
Well,
position.
honestly, the Mets are going to trade the entire freaking organization before they're going to trade Lindor. So, I mean,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
not
that's
going
true.
anywhere, right? I mean,
They'll trade
Tia,
everybody he doesn't
Tia
like.
Alex is not trading Lindor. Okay, let's be real here.
He's
That's
not.
not happening.
He's not getting traded. No way.
No,
But
no.
that contract is if he's got like these kind of injuries, right? That contract is going to be nobody's going to take it.
I mean, he's been pretty healthy, honestly.
It's not the
So,
years. I mean, it's not the dollar value, dog. It's the years. People don't want to grab those years on the
the
contract.
injury thing, I think, is overdone on it.
No, I mean the injuries if they make him slow down significantly. And
Eh,
listen, the part
you're
where you
putting the
could
cart
live
before the
with,
horse a little bit.
the part where you could
I
live
played
with.
like 158 games or something like that
No,
last
no,
year.
no. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying the part that you could live with, even if he doesn't hit through the contract the way that he did in the early part of the contract, you could live with it because he's such a good defensive player. But if his defense starts to slip and, his hitting goes with it, that is an albatross of a contract for the last like 5 years of it.
Okay, so if he underperforms offensively and defensively, the guy who is paid as a superstar is now going to be a problem contract. Okay, so is every other
I'm
superstar
going out on a
contract.
limb,
What
dog.
does he
I'm
want me?
going
It's
out
like,
on a limb.
yeah, the guy had 220 and also can't field. Yeah, I guess that would be a problem.
No, the point is, one of the reasons why you sign a guy like that to those type of years is because like with Judge, you can anticipate, yes, the offense is going to take a dip, but defensively, the guys won't slow down as fast and as much, and they could still be at least league average defensive players through most of the length of that contract, which Lindor would maybe project to be, but you sort of worry more about these injuries slowing him down on defense. That's my point. Of course, if he slows down on offense,
It's
then
not
he
going to
slows
slow
down
down
on
his defense.
defense.
What's going to slow down his defense?
Look, if his hand is fucked up and he
I mean,
can't
his
make
hands. I mean, you're,
throws,
you're assuming like his hand never heals.
if
I
he
mean, it's
can't
one thing if you have
throw,
like a hammy or you got something else like that, or ligaments, stuff like that. I mean, it's a bone. It is gonna heal, right? I mean, he'll say he can't throw. I mean, it's normally like throwing stuff, things like that. That's where it goes.
Doug, this
I mean,
is the Mets
drink
we're
some
talking
fucking
about,
milk,
right?
man. It's not that fucking bad. Relax, Jesus Christ.
Doug,
In February, you're like, we're stuck with this albatross for contract. We haven't even got pitchers and catchers there yet, man. What the fuck?
but Doug,
We
you
have
do know
so little
that
depth, all right?
you do know
Jesus.
this is the Mets that we're talking about, right? So, like,
The Met month. That was the best one Francesco to have with the Met month. It was so irritating because it wound up being so right, which was painful.
Doug, how
Not a
about
Met month. Not
Doug,
a
how
Met
about
month.
like
Met 6 weeks.
I don't want to I don't want to be like the bearer of like the black cloud flying overhead, but like
Let me do the sports pope. 6 weeks. It'd be lucky if you stay in July.
Doug, remember how like Roberto Alomar was a Gold Glove second baseman,
Oh,
and by the time
stop.
he left the Mets, like a year and a half later, he didn't know how to play defense anymore? Like,
Yes.
was he a switch
Tony
hitting middle
Fernandez. That was
infielder?
another
Was
beauty.
he a
That was
switch
another
hitting middle
execute.
infielder from Puerto Rico? I mean, like you do, Carlos Paerga. Like, I mean, we
You
do
know.
know that there's kind of a bad track record, dog. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we're good now. We're all good
Okay.
now. It's
All
gonna be
right.
fine.
Moving on. Justin Verlander back with the Tigers. I thought this was a hell of a move. Like
It
you,
was a great move.
you made a good point. Like it's probably triggered by the fact that Reese Olson is going to be out for the year. But like, listen, they lose. on the arbitration to Tarek Skubal, they were offering 19 million. He gets paid 32 million for the year. Everybody's like, he's going to get traded, blah, 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 blah. I think they're fine doing what they're doing. They should
They're going for it. You got to
they
like. I mean,
signed
they
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 signed
deferred
for
the money on Framber and everything. They're going for it. Next year or two,
yeah.
they're going to go for it. And when Scribble goes, he goes, and
Yeah.
they're going to implode. But they're
But you
going
know
for it
what?
for this next year or
Hold
two.
on. Now wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a
What
second.
is it?
Wait a second.
Hold on.
Um, but now if you're Skubal, right, and this team does well, and you get to free agency, and you've seen a guy, you've seen what they've done for Valdez. You saw them bring in Verlander for 13 million for the year and 11 million in incentives. He's basically there to you know get some starts during the regular season, do enough to help them win the division, and then get them to the tournament. And then you have a great top two, and then the veteran mixed in, plus whoever, Casey Mize, whoever the young guys are, maybe one of them pops and it puts you over the top. Division's not that hard. It's not as easy as it was, but there's the luminaries reside in the East and the West, and not the Central. So it's a very winnable division. And if he's willing to take on that deferred type of contract, right? How far off could they necessarily be? And if he does like it there and they are winning, like if he resigns and they have him and Valdez up front and some of these other guys buttressing them behind, plus their lineup I think is just going to keep getting better because these young guys really like they have some sticks and those guys really haven't hit their primes at all yet. So I think the offense has much better days in front of them. So like I always thought it was a little strange that the Tigers are just pushed off as like there's no way he would stay there. I mean, maybe I'm just maybe
There's no way he's staying there.
but if the
Sorry.
offers
Yeah, I wish
are
you would, but
if
he's
the
not gonna.
offers are close, right? He wouldn't.
No. Then and they're not gonna have the rest of if to get what he. I mean, let's put it this way. You're gonna outbid the Dodgers and the Mets for it.
I got to see them
Do
put
the
up the
Dodgers
money.
even have to outbid? It seems at this point.
Well, listen,
But
you don't know. First of all, you don't know what the situation's going to be after the season ends because there might not be a 2027. And by the
yeah.
time they come back into it, there might have been no signing period for him, and he might come back to a world where there's a salary cap, right? One thought.
So your argument is that he does a deal this season prior to the contract
Not quite, but
expiration.
well, I would think normally no because he's a Boris guy. And that's usually against the Boris thing, unless the guy like just absolutely is like, look, I'm just staying here no matter what. Just get me a deal for here, and that's that, and do it quickly. But I think there's a world where once the CBA expires after 2026, it's a lockout situation, so there's no way to sign, right? So he's not, so he's sort of a free agent, but he sort of isn't. And by the time the new rule comes into effect in the new CBA, if they lose the season, like I think they're prepared to do from an ownership standpoint, in order to get the salary cap, which the players say they will never do, then maybe it's, under these new terms, he could sign with the Tigers for an extra 2 years and $100 million more than if he went somewhere else.
I don't know. I just don't see it, unfortunately. I just see him getting pulled away from the top money teams. And I just don't think that the Tigers have enough to. And I think part of it, even just looking at it, right, like they just did the deferrals um with Valdez. So like they've already kicked money into the future, all right, to sort of help pay for right now, which works for right now. But when you get to 27, 28, 29, that's when the Valdez money got kicked to it, and that's another 20, 30 million that you've got to swallow on top of trying to sign Scooble for much more money. So that's like a now you're taking a $50 million hit out of your payroll, and what does that mean to the rest of your team?
Well, let me put it another way. Let me put it another way. Doug, uh, who's the hockey team in Detroit?
The Red Wings,
Yes. And are they well supported?
very well supported.
Okay. And it's they had a great run for a long time and they've been down and now they're kind of back up this year, right?
Okay.
Very well supported. Doug, how many Super Bowls have the Detroit Lions even been to, let alone how many have they won?
0-0.
Okay. And
Even though I put our boy Dan Campbell in there, but couldn't
and
break it there.
what are the Lions fans like on a day-to-day basis in Detroit? Fanatic.
None of this matters, but they're very good. They're
Hold
very
on.
very supportive. It's a great sports town.
Doug, the
I grant that.
Detroit Pistons have the best record in the NBA in the East. The NBA is the National Basketball Association, by the way. I don't know if you've heard or thought about that league for a while, but yes, believe it or not, the Detroit Pistons are
The
in
Knicks
first
still in
place.
it.
They're very well supported. Now, their support definitely dipped when they were in the wilderness for a long time. Dog, the Tigers are in a great sports town. These teams get very well supported, especially when it looks like they're going to win. The fans have started to get a little taste of it the past couple of years. And if the stadium gets packed, and the other big thing that they need is they need that TV rights deal, which is like I can't imagine that somebody's not going to be able to make a deal with them at some point, and that becomes a game changer. It becomes a game changer for a player as well because it becomes a great place to play again. It's a flagship city in the majors for 100 something years.
To 2.4 million fans, record attendance last year.
Yeah. So and it's gonna get better if they keep winning. So I don't want to dismiss it out of hand. And I think, like I said,
They're spending big bucks this year. I
yeah.
mean, I was looking at it. It's like they're spending like 230, 240 or something like that. Latest on now. I mean, it's still TBD, I guess, on some of the contract details and deferrals and all that. But they're up there. I mean, they're spending pretty heavy. And the question is, can they continue to maintain it sort of thing?
Look, they could become the bully. They could become the big market team in the small market AL Central. They could basically just win it every year for the next like 10 years if they sign him. Even if their lineup isn't that good, they could just plug guys in here and there. They're just going to have more pitching than everybody else. Maybe the Royals will rise up one year with Bobby Witt and the young guys or whatever. But I don't know. I'm not dismissing it because if they're in first place and they're looking at all those playoff dollars, are they going to trade him at the trade deadline? It's not. This is not an Angels Otani thing, right?
Yeah.
Where they know they're not going to make it, but
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
still not going to trade
I
him.
think they're setting up to go for it with them. I will give it that. So I don't see them unless like they implode or something like that, or there's injuries and whatever else. But um, no, I mean, I think to go four square with Screwball this year. I just don't know if he's still gonna be able to keep him in the off season.
I think that one's really definitely worth watching
Yeah.
for sure. Um,
Now, part of me is for life for the good league. You'd like to see it, right? You'd like to see him stay there. Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
yeah,
it's not a pirate situation,
no, it's not.
right? I mean, it's they're good. They have resources. They can do
Dog, how
something.
about the Pirates? They signed Marcelo Zuna, and all of a sudden you look at their lineup and you're like, wow, that's actually not that bad. And now their odds to make the playoffs are up to like 43%. Again, bad division. Well, I remember I said they're the ones who should have signed for Amber Valdez because they could or trade for Scooble,
Yeah.
right? Because then you have Skeens and like anybody, and nobody's going to want to face you in a playoff series, especially a short one.
Yep.
But Doug, before we wrap it up on the Tigers, did you see Tiger Woods' son committed to Florida State?
I did not see that.
So yeah, the whole news is that Tiger Woods' son committed to Florida State. I don't have really much more to say about this.
It's like
Um,
sounds great. Or it's
I know one of our big fans, Neil, is watching, and he's a hurricane himself, but he's got a family full of Seminoles, so maybe one of the Carson boys will be you know housemates with Tiger, whatever his son's name is, Charlie Woods. Charlie Woods there.
cool.
And then, free tickets to the Masters. Diamond Diehards is on
A
from the
little,
Masters.
little something, something.
Not allowed to bring your phone anywhere, so I don't know how we'd do a show. But,
Figure it out.
Doug, the USA women demolished Canada in women's hockey in the Olympics in the final prelim. Canada had never been shut out in 41 previous Olympic women's hockey games. And I was not expecting this. As you know, I am a women's hockey broadcaster, the play-by-play voice for the University of Virginia Wahoos now.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, so
So,
weaseled my way into that one. Don't forget to tune in on UVA women's
like,
hockey
comment,
on
and share.
YouTube on Sunday morning at 9. Virginia versus Virginia Tech.
There you go.
The Battle of the
Battle of the
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Very
lay
nice.
it down.
So, yeah, they've been the ladies been playing strong out there. I mean, they're obviously two great teams going on, US and Canada, but um, yeah, they both look tremendous. So it should be a fun tourney.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Canada, they've never gotten beaten like that ever. Like literally ever. Like it's
Yeah.
worthless ever. And they're a country, so that's like pretty bad.
It's about the only time US beats Canada.
I know.
It's the military's 0 for 3. The army doesn't do well in Canada.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how do you meet out the revolution though? I think we kind of did okay there, right?
No, I think we kind of lost another one up there, if I remember right. I think it's one of the losses.
I mean, but
Back,
ultimately
yeah, oh,
we
yeah,
won.
we went to go take Quebec. We got bushed. Yeah, that didn't turn out well.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean,
Benedict, all
eventually,
those guys, they went from Tycho. They're like, yeah, let's just keep going north. And yeah, it didn't work out well. Maybe it was to Montreal. I guess they're going for Montreal, probably not Quebec.
mm-mm. It
Toronto?
was Quebec. It was Quebec. It
Quebec.
was Quebec.
It was all
That's
right.
where
So
we
it's remember.
lost, but we did. I think we did. Like we
Yeah.
didn't blow the whole mission though. Like
Eh, eh, eh.
we
It was an L.
weren't
It was
fighting
an L. It was an
Canadians.
L. I mean, come on, we got
We
to be
weren't
fair.
fighting Canadians. We were
Fair is
fighting
fair. We had to
British.
take it. We took an L on it. So
We retreated the hill.
we did. We retreated the lake.
Thankfully, we retreated the lake.
It was not good. Not good. Yep. Yeah, I came with them all.
Can Lafayette be Lafayette? Can the fur trappers be the fur trappers? Because you're gonna have a cold winter, okay?
Oh, man.
We got um Mike Vrabel saying that Will Campbell, the left tackle, he's still gonna be their left tackle. And apparently Andrew Thomas, I don't know if he did directly, but he gave words of encouragement to Will Campbell. Did you hear about that, Doc?
No, I didn't hear that. That's
The
classic. Andrew
Giants
Thomas is he's a very classy guy.
Giant
Quiet,
star
but
left tackle was saying that he knows how it feels to be a rookie, and he said a lot of people thought he was a bust in his first year, and his advice is to just stay calm, go about your business, do your thing. He said he thinks that he's got he sees that he loves football and he's got the makeup to be a competitor, whatever. But I don't know. I have some questions, Doc. I have some questions. He was projected as a guard, and I always thought like too much was made of this combine stuff where they're measuring guys and whatever. But I got to tell you, and I don't know shit about linemen, but the one thing that seems to hold true about tackles is that when they don't have the arm length, like that seems to end up like somehow being a thing.
it's tough to work. It's not a. I don't think it's as bright a line as people tend to make it out. But if you don't have that, you've got to have the good footwork. And that's normally what I find is sort of separates your guards from your tackles is the good footwork and the good technique. to kind of worry. Like I think Illuminor for the Giants, like I don't think his arms are like super wide. I think they're like 33, 35. Like he's got sort of normal size. He doesn't have like the tackle, like, 36-inch
But as a
arms
right
that you love to
tackle
see.
with a right-handed thrower, it's probably not as critical as the blind side.
Yeah, but again, I mean, they'll sort of find a way to get the rush one side or the other. Yes, left tackle is more important, but you still get good right. And if you have a great left tackle, what do they do? They go on the other side, right, and try and come in the other way. Um, but you can overcome it. I mean, it's certainly an advantage to have that. But the real thing is the footwork. That's what they love to look at, like the three cone tests and stuff like that for linemen. And that's really a pretty strong indicator for them of how well they're going to do.
Dog,
So all the agility.
are the Pats really gonna get hit hard next year? First place schedule, which is the opposite. Like they literally had the easiest schedule of any team this millennium.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
you still get
begrudge
to play
them.
the
Like,
Jets twice, right? So,
yeah,
um,
like, but and now they go from that to a first place schedule. But listen, like we've saw, like, look, the Giants had a last place schedule this year, and they had the hardest schedule in the league somehow. So, like,
to
what
like
the
2 years
hell?
in a row.
Yeah, yeah, 2 years in a row, like they
Yeah,
have the
it
hardest
seems fair.
schedule. Yeah. Um,
So,
it's like you see Drake May, he had the worst, like, I mean, he had the best, worst postseason ever of a quarterback because he just kept winning games, but his numbers, just got worse and worse and worse, with the fumbles and the interceptions and the sacks and, no help from the linemen. I mean, Will Campbell was a turnstile,
yeah,
especially at the Super Bowl. I mean, he just like, they needed to put like, they
yeah, they
needed to
could.
get Gronk out of retirement and just put him on the left. Just help him
Yeah,
out
they
in every
could.
play.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was sort of a bit of an odd thing. I was worrying at the time. It's like, you know what, like, why aren't you going in there like giving a guy a chip and stuff like that and try to
I mean,
help
they
the guy
did.
out a
They
little bit?
did. They gave him some help at times, but
Yeah,
the problem was that the Hawks were just rushing four guys and getting there like
yeah,
frequently, pretty
yeah.
much all the time. By the way, Doc, so you probably know this, but our listeners don't. Um, I was like all over the Seahawks. And I didn't really like the over or the under one way or another because I'm like, well, I think the Seahawks could win this game the way they beat the Peyton Manning Broncos, which was like 43-8. Like I thought it could be one of those. I'm like, could the Seahawks get the 40 by themselves and then the Pats get, one touchdown or a couple of field goals. So I'm like, you know what? I think there's a chance that in the end it gets a little out of hand and it goes over. So one thing I liked was the Seahawk defensive touchdown, which I got and I didn't bet enough on. And I was laying the 4.5 or the 5 points wherever I could. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'll throw I was trying to like set up these parlays. So I needed like the over, which was 45.5, and I bet Kenneth Walker to have like the highest threshold I think was 190 rushing plus receiving yards. And I also did the bet someone will break the rushing record, which so
That's a bold one.
and Kenneth and a Kenneth Walker touchdown. So I have like 9 parlays where I need either or
No,
whatever.
I know where we're going with this.
The over,
It was
Kenneth
a hold. I know you're screaming about
Kenneth
it.
Walker like yards, Kenneth Walker touchdown.
Yeah,
So he breaks free. It's going to be like a 60-yard run.
yeah.
I am literally dancing around my kitchen. You could ask Debbie Rizzo. I was dancing around my kitchen. I'm like, holy shit! Oh my god, this is unbelievable! I'm gonna hit literally every single bet that I made. I would have cashed every single bet except he would not have broken the Timmy
Rushing.
Smith rushing record
Yeah.
on that play, which was like I only bet like a dollar or two on that, so it didn't even it didn't even matter. And like by the time I circle around to the other side of the aisle and I look at the TV, I'm like, fucking
With that
flag,
yellow thing.
fucking flag.
I like you guys haven't called anything the whole game, which was
Well, I don't even
nice.
know. I
They
don't
kind
even.
of let them. They kind of let them play
Was it
generally, which
actually
was
a
nice.
hold? I somebody told me
Yeah,
it
it kind
was.
of was. Yeah, it was. It was legit. I mean, it's one of those things like interior lineman, like a guy grabs and do this, like Sometimes it's okay, sometimes not. I mean, he turned him a little bit. It was a little bit much. So
I know.
legit, it was
Could
a
they
hold. It wasn't. It
could
wasn't egregious,
could they have
but
just given the guy a shining moment? His father
and by
had never
and by
been to a
and by
game.
the guy, you mean Riz?
Yeah, me. No,
The
Kenneth.
shining gold
The
moments.
guy's father had never been to a game because he's got some crazy fear
He
of
was the
crowds.
MVP, right? It worked out okay for it worked out
I
okay for
know,
Kenny.
but he just looked so happy when he was running to the end
And
zone,
more
like
so,
thanking God and And then the next thing you know, there's a flag. I'm like, and the next play, I'm like, can he do it again? I'm like, wait, did they put him back like behind the
same
30 so
thing.
he could
Same
break
thing
the?
to the right.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Sid, but from the right side. Um,
Exactly.
I'm like, can they bring him back to the 30 so he could break the NFL Super Bowl rushing record? Yeah, it didn't happen. So I ended up like sort of like playing for free in air quotes, or I made a few bucks, but like this would have been like my biggest hit probably ever because I don't even know what I had. Like everything would have hit, like everything. So it didn't. But
But it would have been nice.
as my friend Jake likes to say, you know there's more games, Joe, right? You could there's other games that you could bet. He says that like when I come close in horse racing, I have had some just heartbreakers on like tens of $1,000 payoffs where like I lost by like a nose. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like I had this handicapped so perfectly. He's like, there's another race in like 20 minutes, Joe, right? I'm like, I know, but that
No, I
can't
was
be.
completely unaware. No way.
Oh boy. Yeah, it was a good,
It's a fun one.
everybody hated the Super Bowl, but I was into it
Yeah,
because
it
I
wasn't bad.
thought,
Just a little defense, right? So a little
yeah, I mean,
little
like
throwback, little defense, little running. Um,
everybody was, well, how about the strategy that goes with that? Like they had to put together a game plan. Like if you were watching the previous games or paying attention to the previous games, right? There's the Broncos never in a million years should have lost to the Patriots. Never. All they had to do was just if they just handed the ball off on every play after they scored the touchdown, and then on the time that they had a chance to kick the field goal, and instead they went for it on 4th and 1, they win the game 10-0. Like the Patriots couldn't do anything. Their offense was skunked for the entire playoffs. They were done. They didn't do any. Yes, they play good defenses every week? Absolutely, they did. Did they
yeah.
do anything against them? No, they didn't. Like, and they were playing against another great defense. What did you think they were going to do? They weren't going to move the ball. They haven't moved the ball for a month. And all Seattle had to do was just not turn the ball over and not give them anything. And the Pats were winning the field position game. And then the Seahawks just were like, okay, they had a couple of good drives. And then Dixon, I thought Dixon the punter could have been the MVP. He kept drilling them back there and turning around the possession more. And the Pats weren't good. Even on the off chance that they were making a play here and there, that was only getting them out to their own 30. And then they were going to be done. So it was old school. There was definite strategy there. They were purposely playing it conservative, and they were doing to the Pats what the Pats have done to the other teams, where the Pats are like, we're just going to kind of hang around and let you beat yourself. And the Broncos did, right? Did him with that one play,
Yep.
which I still think was an incomplete pass, by the way, but like, I don't know. What do I know? It looked like it was going forward and it hit the guy's hand and then went backward, but they didn't have enough time to review it because the other game was about to start.
Time to go.
Just
Time to go.
yeah.
I don't know. Listening to Collinsworth, just brutal. Just brutal.
I actually thought
Oh
I'm
no,
going to
here we go.
defend.
Here we
No,
go.
I'm going to say
Here
this.
we
I'm
go.
going to say this. I'm going to say this.
First half at least. Brutal. Brutal.
Well, I got to give
Brutal. Drake
Tirico.
May, Drake May, next second coming.
I got to give
That's the whole
Tirico and and
Tarico's great.
and somewhat Collinsworth a little bit of credit. Look, they had nothing to work with in that game. I mean, they could have tried to.
Unrelenting pressure. You couldn't talk about the great plays the defense is
He
making.
did. I mean, I think he
Just that's it.
did.
Okay,
He
so
did.
just talk that up. Instead,
they
we got to talk
did.
about Drake May and Pat's driving like this and doing all that. They got like 2 first downs, and that's all I heard for a quarter. They had like 50 yards the
I'll
entire
tell you
time. They
what.
had like 30 of it like the first drive.
I'll tell you what. If we're since it's it's football, but we call it inside baseball, would as a term. I thought a massive play in this game was after the Pats got that touchdown. They're down 19-6. How are you not going for two? It's the
And you
fourth
know I hate
quarter.
going for two. Even I was with you four square now. At that point, you absolutely had
Hold
to
on. I'm gonna
try and
go.
go for 3 scores.
I'm gonna go for deeper. Ready?
Okay.
They stop them. Pats. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks punt. Pats are kind of moving the ball. Now they're down 19-7, not 19-8. No difference between 19-7 and 19-6. None.
Yep.
No difference. Huge difference between 19-7 and
And
19-8.
19-8. Correct.
Massive difference
Yep.
because
2 score game.
here's why. If they're down to a point where they could get a certain amount of yards and kick a field goal and still get the ball back, I just don't think Drake May is going to make that throw that he made that Julian Love picked off like a center fielder. Like, I think they make different plays to try to move the ball more and not worry so much that they have to get the touchdown right there. Like, he had to put it on the line. Like, people are like, what was he doing? That throw, blah, 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 blah. Like, well, I don't know. If you just take a look at it, like, they had to get two touchdowns. He was going to have to do it at some point. So that was the point that he did it. But if you could survive that with a field goal, I just don't think you're in the as much of a desperation mode as he was there.
Yep.
So I
Agree.
think it had a huge impact on the game. And
Yeah.
I just like in the NFL with all these coaches, all this money, all this oversight, like it's just unbelievable how often these 2-point decisions are debated and how so many different people can make a case for it one way, a case for it the other way. But this was one
Yeah.
time
This is
where
literally a no brainer.
I have not heard one person defending the kicking of the extra point. Not
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. There isn't a. There's no reason to.
And I thought it was a much bigger play because if you did it now, like we were talking in our thread,
Because
we're like,
in worst case, you just have to go for 3 touchdowns anyway. Which,
right,
if you kick the extra point, you have to go for 3 touchdowns anyway. So you
yeah,
you took away the chance of you making it a 2 touchdown field goal game.
right, a less of a miracle game.
Yeah. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hate going for the too early and everything else like that. I normally rant against that all the time, but this one was 100%.
But it wasn't even early. I mean, it was the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at that point, and you've done nothing offensively. So I guess maybe you're thinking, wow, it's good enough that we got into the end zone. We can't do anything on these guys short yardage. We might as well just take the point. Point doesn't matter there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you've exhausted the point where that actually matters. But a couple of hoop scores there. The Virginia men's team has beaten Florida State, so down go the Seminoles. I mean, they're not really that good, but it's a road win in the ACC that's pretty good.
There you go.
And Dog, the Fordham Rams beat the St. Joe's Hawks
Okay. There we go. That's legit.
78-64. How about that?
All right. Good job there.
Jeez.
A little shout out, Ramley.
And yeah, just before this, I was on a call helping organize our Fordham reunion. So
Couple
if
of
you're a
what
Fordham
it's what
Ram,
25 this year, right?
yeah, again, how many times can we rerun it?
Yeah, a
No, but
couple
we're trying
times.
to take some ideas from that awesome 25th and
There you go.
and redo them for the 35th.
There you
So if you're Fordham 91 or it's your Jubilee year, make sure that you clear out the weekend of May, the last weekend in May, because we got to see you there.
There you go.
I already told Jerry Milani that he's calling in sick for whatever he's got to do that weekend. Like, oh, that's my Philly show. I'm like, you're feeling sick, bud. I'm sorry. But we're not going to tell anybody. We're not going to make that public. We're just going to
There you
let
go.
it happen.
Except the fans of the show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, listen, then they'll be in on it. They're not going to give them up.
Exactly.
All right, Doug. We wrapped up. I think we got a lot in. It was a
We did.
vociferous evening for us. assaulting and surprising our our viewers and our supporters. But I think this counted as a, Tuesday Night Live. If you're watching on Facebook, thank you for doing it. The Facebook group, share it with some people who you think may or may not be interested. We're trying to tweak the format a little bit. You know, be a little more just getting right into it, and less of the intro stuff. So do all the stuff to follow us, whatever. Nobody gets to this part of the show probably anyway, but if you do,
We're still two guys drinking beers at the bar. When you walk in, we're going to yell at you something right away.
yeah, probably. Or you're gonna
It's a
be
bit
like,
of a
wait.
raucous, it's a bit of a raucous bar.
And when you walk in, the first thing you're gonna look at, you're gonna like, what the hell are you guys doing here? You're like, wait, we weren't telling anybody we were coming here. We just
Hey,
show
Lou,
up.
who let asshole in here?
He's a tough asshole over there.
There we go.
At
Then we'll
Jeff
buy a
Healy
beer
eight,
later.
at Jeff Healy 8. That's the number 8 for the dog on X, and at Diamond Diehards for me, Joe Rizzo. That is going to wrap it up for a Tuesday night live. And yeah, do all the following stuff. And if you're watching this on Facebook, but you didn't catch the whole thing, it'll be up on YouTube at some point. Probably like Wednesday evening at 7, I think, is we need a little lead time for that. And if you'd like to just walk around or run or put your AirPods in, all the podcast apps will have it. So we would love for you to subscribe there. That makes a huge difference. Hitting the subscribe button on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever they do podcasts. We're there. Whatever. Dog. Did I say it right? Did I say it right?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. You can't just nod because there might be
I wasn't sure if that was a question or a
there
statement.
might be people listening. There might be people listening. All right, that will
Unless it
do
did.
it for a Tuesday Night Live for the dog, Jeff Healy. This is Joe Rizzo. Diamond Diehards is out.